Good morning, students. In a last video, I explained about the reproduction in organisms. Today, we let us discuss about the sexual reproduction in flowering plants. In a plant, which is the sexual reproductive part? Do you know that? Which is the sexual reproductive part? Flower. Flower is the modified shoot meant for sexual reproduction. Now I will explain the different parts and functions of the flower. It is the stalk of the flower called a pedicel, terminal part called receptacle. A receptacle ends with a knob-like structure called a thalamus. Over the thalamus, there are four whorls: calyx, corolla, androecium, and a gynoecium. The first whorl is a calyx. Its members or units are called sepals. Sepals are the units. This calyx is generally small sized and green colored as leaf. It gives protection to a flower in a bud condition. The second whorl is corolla. Corolla is a large sized and brightly colored. Its main function is to attract pollinating agents towards the plant or a flower. The units of corolla are called petals. The third whorl is a androecium. Androecium is a male reproductive part. Its members or units are called stamens. Stamens. Each stamen has two parts. The long, slender stalk is called filament. This is the long, slender stalk is called filament, and the tip is called anther. Here, this anther produces a yellow colored dust called pollen dust, which contain numerous pollen grains that contain male gamete sperms. The fourth and centralmost whorl is a gynoecium. Gynoecium is a female reproductive part. Female reproductive part. Its units are called carpels or a pistil. The units of gynoecium are called the carpels or a pistil. Each pistil is divided into three parts. This topmost portion is called stigma. Stigma is the landing place for pollen grains during pollination. It is followed by a long, slender stalk is called a style. The basal, this oval shaped area is called a ovary. Ovary. It is situated above the thalamus. Ovary inside contain a number of ovules. Ovary contain a ovules. Here, these are the different parts of the typical flower. Of the four whorls, calyx and corolla are called non-essential whorls. Calyx and corolla are called non-essential orals, whereas androecium and gynoecium are called essential orals, because in absence of androecium or in absence of gynoecium, reproduction cannot takes place. But in absence of either corolla or helix, reproduction can takes place. So these two orals are called non-essential orals. Next, we learn about the internal structure of the anther. Internal structure of the anther. I will show that in my next slide. See here. This is the transverse section of young anther. This is the TS of the young anther. It has two lobes. This is a right lobe and a left lobe. Single anther, if has two lobes, that anther is called dithecous anther. Inside anther consisting four sacs, 1, 2, 3, 4 sacs. These sacs are called pollen sacs or microsporangium. The sacs are called microsporangium. Here there is a group of special tissue called connective, through which anther connected to the filament. Of this TS of young anther, the small sector is enlarged here, magnified. This wall of the anther consisting of four layers. This is the outermost layer called epidermis. Made up of that is cylindrical shaped, thin walled, single layered parenchymatous cells. Next, there is another second layer is called endothecium. Next, these two layers are called middle layers. All the three layers, epidermis, endothecium, middle layers, gives protection to a anther, and when anther become mature, these layers dioecious, means breaks open and releases pollen grains into the air. This is the fourth layer called tapetum. This layer is called tapetum. It is made up of large sized parenchymatous cells. Each cell contains dense cytoplasm and a prominent nucleus. Dense cytoplasm and a prominent nucleus. These cells synthesis food materials. These tapetum cells synthesis food materials. By that it nourishes the pollen grains, provide food to the pollen grains. Next, this is the sac enclosed by the layer tapetum. This centralmost space is filled with a special type of tissue called sporogenous tissue. It is filled with a sporogenous tissue. The cells of sporogenous tissue are called pollen mother cells. Pollen mother cells. Gradually, these pollen mother cells undergo a meiotic cell division or reductional cell division. By reductional cell division, When one this sporogenous cell divide produces 4 haploid cells. That cluster of 4 haploid cells is called tetrad. That is called the tetrad. After dissociation of the tetrad, 4 pollen grains will separate. So when anther completely matures, these layers breaks open and releases that pollen grains into the air. Next, we learn about the structure of the pollen grain. See, this is the pollen grain, also called microspore, produced in a microsporangium. That process is microsporogenesis. The process of formation of pollen grain or a microspore is called microsporogenesis. Pollen grain is a very small, minute, spherical or oval shaped microscopic structure, externally covered by 2 layers. This is the outer layer called exine. This outer layer exine is made up of highly resistant chemical substance called sporopollenin. That chemical substance is called sporopollenin. That sporopollenin give protection to a pollen grain against the heat, acids and alkalis. This is the inner layer called intine. Intine is made up of 2 chemical substances. One is pectin, another cellulose. So it is pectocellulosic layer. Each pollen grain inside contain 2 highly unequal sized dot cells. This is the large sized cell contain dense cytoplasm with irregular shaped nucleus is called vegetative cell. The main function of this vegetative cell is to develop pollen tube after pollination. It develops the pollen tube. Another small sized cell called generative cell floating over the vegetative cell cytoplasm. This generative cell contain little cytoplasm with a haploid nucleus. It undergo mitotic division. Which division? Mitotic division, and produces 2 daughter cells. Each daughter cell is developed into a male gamete, sperm or a spermatozoa. So that process is called spermatogenesis. This is about the male reproductive parts in a flower. Next, we learn about the female reproductive part that I will show in my next slide. This is the ovule. The structure of an ovule. Ovule is also called megasporangium. Where it is present in the plant? Ovule is present inside the ovary. Already you know the ovary. Ovary is the part of the pistil or a carpel. Inside ovary, there may be a single or many ovules are present, are also called, that is megasporangium. This is the structure of the megasporangium. This is a stalk of the ovule through which it attached to the wall of the ovary called placenta. This stalk is called funicle. This stalk is called funicle. Next, the centralmost part, this is embryo sac. Embryo sac, also called female gametophyte. Which part of the flower is called female gametophyte? Embryo sac is also called female gametophyte. This embryo sac externally covered by a special tissue which contain dense cytoplasm and functional nucleus. This tissue found around the embryo sac is called nucellus. That is a nucellus. It is nutritious tissue. It provides nutrition and it is a nourishing tissue. This nourishing tissue, nucellus, externally covered by two protective membranes. This is the first protective membrane. This layer is called inner integument. This is inner integument. It enclosed by another layer is called outer integument. Both inner integument and outer integument not completely encloses the nucellus tissue. They leave a small pore here. This small opening or a pore is called micropyle. That is called the micropyle. The outer integument where it attached to the funicle, that point is called hilum. Hilum. So this ovule shows a definite polarity. This end is commonly called micropylar end. Since micropyle present here is called micropylar end. Its opposite end is called chalazal end or a chalazal pole. It shows a definite polarity. This is a chalazal end or a pole. This is a micropylar end or a pole. It is the structure of the ovule. Structure of an ovule. Next, we learn about the detail about this female gametophyte. Which you called female gametophyte? Embryo sac is also called female gametophyte. See, this is the female gametophyte, the structure of embryo sac. Embryo sac externally covered by nucellus tissue. This is chalazal end. Chalazal end. This is micropylar end. The chalazal end consisting 3 haploid cell. 1, 2, 3. 3 haploid cells together called antipodals. All the 3 haploid cells together called antipodals. And this is micropylar end. Micropylar end also contain 3 cells. 3 cells, 1, 2, 3. Here middle cell is called egg. It will be haploid. This is the egg. On either side of the egg, there are two cells are called synergids. These cells are called synergids. So this is the functional egg. Two synergids together called egg apparatus. Egg always lies towards micropylar end. The two synergids cell towards their basal region has a finger-like projections. This apparatus is called filiform apparatus. This filiform apparatus helps for directing growth of pollen tube into the egg cell during fertilization. How many cells lies towards the chalazal end? 3 called antipodals. How many cells present towards the micropylar end? 3 cells called egg apparatus. Here at the middle of the embryo sac, there are only 2 nuclei are present. 2 nuclei are called polar nuclei. These 2 nuclei are called polar nuclei. This cell is called central cell. It will be diploid. Central cell is diploid, consisting 2 polar nuclei. Tell me, in an embryo sac, count how many cells are there? 1, 2, 3 towards chalazal end. 1, 2, 3 towards micropylar end, total 6. And at the middle region of the embryo sac, there is one central cell. Total how many cells? 7 cells. 7 cells are present. Count the number of nucleus. How many nucleus are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So total 8 nucleus present in a embryo sac. But how many cells? 7 cells. So this stage is called 7-celled 8 nuclei stage of the embryo sac. This is about the female gametophyte embryo sac. Now I am showing the world largest flower. World largest flower. Its name is Rafflesia arnoldi. Rafflesia arnoldi. This is a parasitic plant. Can grow to be 3 feet across and weigh up to 15 pounds. This is the largest flower in the world. Name Rafflesia arnoldi. Similarly, I will show another flower that is tallest flower in the world. It is there in your textbook. Amorphophallus. The flower is Amorphophallus. It will be 6 feet tall flower. 6 feet tall flower. It is there in your textbook. It may ask for 1 mark. Name Amorphophallus. It is the tallest flower. Which is the largest flower? Largest flower is the Rafflesia arnoldi is the largest flower. Which is the tallest flower? Amorphophallus is the tallest flower. Next, now I am showing a complete whole pistil. Whole pistil. This is a pistil. You know that this is the stigma, style, ovary. Inside ovary there is a ovule. After the pollination, the pollen grains transfer from anther and land over the stigma, either through air or through insect or any other animals. That process is called pollination. After landing on the stigmatic surface, that pollen grain absorb sugary fluid secreted by the stigmatic surface. This stigmatic surface secrete the sugary fluid that is absorbed by the pollen grain, and it start germinate and produces a tube that emerges from the germ pore, that is called pollen tube. So many pollen grains are here, all are germinating. So this is also pollen grain. It develops pollen tube. Do you know which cell of the pollen grain develops pollen tube? Vegetative cell. Vegetative cell is responsible for the growth of this pollen tube. See, this pollen tube, first it penetrate stigmatic surface and gradually penetrate the styler region, and next it enters into the ovary. See, this is the pollen tube developed from the pollen grain, passes through stigma and style, finally it reaches the ovary. What happens during the growth of pollen tube? I said that pollen grain has one more cell, that is called generative cell. That generative cell divides by mitotic division, produces two male gamete sperms. They will be present in the tip of the pollen tube. Next, this pollen tube enters into the embryo sac or a female gametophyte. That passes through a micropylar region. At the vicinity of the embryo sac. After penetrating, the tip of the pollen tube will burst, so that releases two male gamete sperms into the embryo sac. Now the two male gametes of the pollen tube are released into the embryo sac. Of the two male gametes, one male gamete or a sperm is fused with this haploid egg cell. Haploid sperm is fused with a haploid egg to produce diploid zygote. This process of fusion of male gamete sperm and egg is called syngamy or fertilization. Fertilization in a plant is generally called syngamy. This is the first fusion. Next here, what is this? Central cell. Central cell consisting two polar nuclei. Another male gamete sperm is fused with this central cell. That is also a fertilization called second fertilization. How many times fertilizations occurred here? 2 times. One male gamete fused with the egg cell, that is first fertilization. Second male gamete is fused with the central cell, that is called the second fertilization. So Total how many times fertilizations takes place here? 2 times. So it is called double fertilization. See here, this is double fertilization. Double fertilization is a characteristic feature of all angiosperms. But in gymnosperms there is a single fertilization, but here there is a double fertilization. Next, after double fertilization, a total at a central cell, how many nucleus fused? Before fusion of sperm nucleus, it has two polar nuclei. One more nuclei will come from the sperm. Total 3 nucleus fused here. So that is called triple fusion. Triple fusion. It means the fusion of 3 nuclei. 2 of the egg or embryo sac, 2 of the embryo sac, 1 of the sperm. Total 3 nucleus fused is called triple fusion. So it is generally called double fertilization and triple fusion. After fertilization, the zygote is developed into a embryo, and this after fertilization or fusion of this central cell and egg, there is a formation of triploid primary endosperm nucleus, commonly called PEN, PEN, primary endosperm nucleus. So it develops endosperm, that is the nourishing tissue for embryogenesis. After fertilization, the 3 antipodals and 2 synergids, all these 5 cells become degenerate. Only the zygote is developed into a embryo, and this PEN, primary endosperm nucleus, nourishes the food to the embryo. And to this point, I'll stop now. I will explain next the post fertilization events in my next class. Okay, thank you.